I've had an industrial sewing machine for a few months now, and one question I've had since the beginning is, can you put a walking foot on this thing? Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about making sewing and crafts fun and approachable, and in this episode we are going to get into my experimentation with trying to attach a walking foot to the Juki DDL-8700 industrial sewing machine. I showed you guys the unboxing, introduction, and just some basics of this really awesome and high-powered sewing machine. And in fact, I had to move the location because it kept blowing out the breakers in our electrical panel. So I've kind of moved it to a different corner of this room. You have no idea how much I've been trying to figure this out. If you know me at all or are new to this channel, I love my walking foot. It's my default foot for like 98% of my sewing projects. What it does is it has an extra set of feed dogs on the foot itself. It's a little bit unusual looking when you first see it. If you have a regular presser foot on the machine, what happens is the feed dogs on the bottom, that will help move the bottom layer of fabric forward, but the top can get a little shifted around. So the walking foot is great for quilting, sewing with more unusual fabrics, knits. I just really love the foot, and I was really curious to see if I could make it work and fit a walking foot on to the Juki DDL-8700. Now, quick disclaimer, I have no association with Juki. This is not a sponsored video, and if you're going to attempt what I attempt, do so at your own risk. I was not able to find hardly any information on this, so that's why I've been really doing some trial and error. It took me about 6 weeks to be able to get to the point where I can film this video and feel comfortable with what I'm presenting. But again, this is not really a use for the machine that is recommended by the manufacturer. I'm going to be trying this out, and if I have any updates on the performance of the machine or if I have any issues, I will leave a pinned comment below. So check that, especially if you're watching this video a while from when I'm uploading it. You can see I have quite a few different screws in front of me, and that's what it took to be able to attach the walking foot. I got this random off-brand walking foot off of Amazon. The reviews on it were pretty good. The one that I got was for a high shank sewing machine, which is what the DDL-8700 is. Normally, if you are able to attach a walking foot to the machine, for instance, on the Brother CS7000i, there is already a built-in like a bar that you can hook the walking foot to, but on the Juki DDL-8700, there's a little screw where that spot is on the Brother, and it's too short, so there's nothing for the lever to latch onto. When I was trying to figure this out, I thought, well, if that screw was just like half an inch longer, I would be able to do it. So that's what I was trying to find, was a screw that fit that threaded hole that was just a little bit longer. Now the part that is for the Juki machine is called the needle clamp screw, and you can find those online, but they are the same length as the one that's already on the machine, so obviously that's not going to work. My first attempt was ordering this random pack of no-name screws off of Amazon. These were too wide, and I noticed the threads on the needle clamp screw are pretty narrow. So a lot of screws you see at the hardware store, the threading is too large. But I did notice something. So the screws I got from Amazon, the size was listed as M4. So I was like, okay, so these were too large, so maybe I should try M3, right? You know, I don't know much about hardware, so I was just sort of trying to guess. I probably need like an assortment pack of different sizes of screws that also have very small threading, so maybe I can just try them out. So I came across this pack, and this is the one that ended up having a solution for me. So this pack of screws, these are black plated carbon steel panhead machine screws, and I'm going to link everything down below in the description box. And it comes with the sizes from M1.4 to M3. I thought in my head that the M3 size, as far as the diameter, was probably my best bet, and that turned out to be correct. So it comes with a number of different lengths of the M3 screws. When I got the screws, I held it up against the needle clamp screw, and the M3 size was very close to the needle clamp screw, so I decided to try that out. The different lengths, it's got like 8 I guess millimeters, 10, 12, 14, 16. I noticed anything above an 8 I think would work to replace the needle clamp screw because it needs to be long enough for that latch to hold on to. What I did was I took the screw, the M3 screw, and the one that I liked the best was the M3 by 10 millimeter. That was like just long enough but gave you a little bit extra length. It was pretty simple. I just unscrewed the original needle clamp screw and screwed in the new M3 screw. Also make sure that the latch for the walking foot is up. It's very easy to replace the presser feet on the Juki DDL-8700. They're flathead screws on the presser foot shank that you have to like replace the feet on. Took off the existing foot, screwed on the walking foot, and then lifted the latch enough so that I could put the screw through the latch and through the needle bar. I decided, hey, let's give it a whirl, and to my surprise and delight, it seems to work. I tested it out. I tried sewing a few different layers of canvas, and then I also tried it on a quilt sandwich sample I made. With these machines, you do have to tweak the tension a bit whenever you're working with different materials. So I tweaked the tension and I got it to a place where I was pretty satisfied with the results. Now I do keep my machine on a pretty low speed, 350 stitches per minute. I don't do anything crazy. And I did read a few accounts of people who used other Juki machines. They had some bad experiences with the walking foot if they tried to sew too fast. So if you are going to attempt this, I would recommend keeping your machine on a very low sewing speed. I haven't noticed any red flags with the machine itself. Everything seems to sew the same as my other sewing machines that I also use a walking foot on.
Quick note, I did text the guy I bought the machine from and told him what I did. He didn't really see an issue with attaching a walking foot as long as I don't sew at a high speed and to make sure the screw is secure. The threading of the screw hole could be stripped, but worst case scenario, the needle bar needs to be replaced.
I do believe I will be able to use the industrial straight stitch sewing machine for quilting, and I'm really excited. Usually I like to line up the edge of my fabric with the edge of my presser foot. I was kind of hoping it would give me a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It did not. It was a little above that. So I would say it was like maybe more of like a 3/8 seam allowance, maybe something like that. It's like just over that. So, but there is a 1/4 inch seam allowance line on the throat plate itself. So I might use my sewing edges, the little purple things I've shown in other videos, if I'm trying to do quilt piecing. So I should be able to use it for quilting and for piecing. So that's cool. So I just wanted to share that quick little hack I found. And again, it is a bit of a hack. I was not able to find anything official from Juki, the manufacturer. I was able to make it work. But again, do this at your own risk and just know long term, I don't know what's going to happen. Right now, it seems okay though. And I was really excited because that is one of the things I really wanted to be able to use this machine for was quilting, because that's one of my favorite activities. Plus, I just really love the walking foot. If you've attempted this on an industrial machine, let me know what your own results were, or if you think there was any sort of hazards with doing this. I'm more of a sewing enthusiast here, and I was just really excited because I was racking the internet trying to figure out if this was possible, and I was like, there was barely anything online about if you can put the walking foot on this machine. Now, I did not use the Juki branded walking foot. Again, this is just a no-name one, but the walking foot I use is typically for the other models of Juki, like I think the 2010Q. So I'll link everything below that I used. I have like a lot of these screws now, and I guess I only really need like 1 or 2 probably. So I got a lot of these guys. I'll have to figure out what to do with them. And I also got this other accessory kit with some additional feet. So I'm going to be trying this out in a future video. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see me do on the Juki. I think it's a great machine so far. I haven't had any issues with it. Turning the hand wheel definitely takes a little more upper body strength than my other machines. So that's probably the only thing. And the one I have does not have needle up down positioning. It does have fewer bells and whistles than your more modern computerized machines, but so far I'm a fan and it does sew a really, really nice straight stitch. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know down below in the comments. Subscribe to the Sewing Report if you would like to see more sewing and crafts videos, but check out my original video on the Juki if you want to learn more about like threading the machine, winding the bobbin, and just really getting started on it. Anyways, I'll see you guys again in the next video. I'm Jen for the Sewing Report, and remember, whatever you're doing, make it fun.